The United States is becoming more divided by the day. Protests are sweeping across the country. Corporations are shifting their policies in response to political pressure, and support for political violence is increasing on both sides. Whether you support the current administration or not, one thing is certain: tensions are escalating, and that could mean more unrest ahead. Welcome to Preppers News from Preppers Paradigm, your source for news and global events with a prepper's perspective. Today, we're covering the latest developments in the growing political divide across the U.S., the rising risk of civil unrest, and what this means for preparedness. Before we begin, a quick note: this video uses a computer-generated voice because my own is difficult to understand due to an injury. Protests have been sweeping across the country in response to the deepening political divide. The grassroots movement known as 50-51 has organized demonstrations in all 50 states, with major gatherings on February 5 and President Day. These protests target government policies, corporate influence, and concerns over federal overreach. While some frame these protests as resistance against the administration, the bigger picture is clear: America is more divided than ever. This level of mobilization suggests that political instability is rising, something preppers should always keep an eye on. Another sign of shifting political tides is the elimination of federal diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI programs. While some see these changes as restoring fairness in hiring and education, others argue it's a rollback of progress. Major corporations like Target and Walmart have followed suit, scaling back their DEI initiatives in response to political and economic shifts. Regardless of your stance on these policies, what's important is that major institutions are adjusting to the political climate, signaling a period of economic and social uncertainty. For preppers, this is yet another reminder that businesses and policies can change rapidly, and being adaptable is key. The country isn't just divided between parties. There's growing tension within both sides. Some activists are frustrated with Democratic leadership, believing they aren't doing enough to challenge Trump's policies. Meanwhile, divisions within the Republican Party continue, with different factions pushing for more aggressive or more restrained approaches to governance. For preppers, this isn't about taking sides. It's about recognizing that deep internal and external divisions lead to instability. When political unrest rises, economic insecurity risks usually follow. One of the most concerning trends isn't just who's in power, but how people are reacting. A recent survey found that support for political violence is rising across the board, not just among left-wing activists, but also among Republicans, independents, and even moderates. 29% of Republicans say political violence may be justified. 17% of Democrats now agree, a significant jump from just 8% last year. 16% of independents also express support. This isn't just a left versus right issue. Americans across the political spectrum are becoming more open to violence as a solution. That's a dangerous shift for everyone, because the more this mentality spreads, the greater the likelihood of real-world conflicts. For preppers, this is a critical warning sign. The risk of civil unrest, riots, and violent confrontations is growing, and it's no longer confined to just one political faction. Protests and counter-protests aren't just happening in major cities. They're spilling into smaller communities as well. For example, in Huron County, Michigan, a peaceful protest against federal policies took place on February 28. Across the street, Trump supporters and local Republicans held a counter-protest. Both groups remain peaceful, but this event reflects a broader trend. Local communities are becoming more politically involved and divided. Even in smaller towns, protests and counter-protests are becoming more common. Similarly, during Vice President J.D. Vance's recent family vacation at Vermont's Sugarbush Resort, hundreds of protesters gathered to express their discontent. This demonstration followed a contentious Oval Office meeting involving Vance, President Trump, and Ukrainian President Zelensky. Protesters displayed signs supporting Ukraine and criticizing Vance, with messages like "Vance is a traitor," "Go ski in Russia." Despite the intensity, the protests remained peaceful, and the resort reported no disruptions. For preppers, this is an important takeaway. Even if you live in a quieter area, don't assume unrest won't reach your community. Rather than focusing on which side is right or wrong, the real issue for preppers is how to stay informed and prepared as divisions deepen. Stay informed. Political unrest can lead to disruptions, restrictions, and economic shifts that impact supply chains and daily life. Avoid the chaos. If protests or counter-protests break out in your area, stay clear. Even peaceful events can turn volatile quickly. Have a safety plan. A prepared household is a resilient one. Know what to do if unrest affects your region. Be situationally aware. Look at trends, not just headlines. Understanding where unrest is happening and why gives you an advantage. This isn't about fear. It's about being ready for whatever comes next. Political tensions aren't going away anytime soon, and whether things stabilize or escalate further, preppers need to be ready for both possibilities. What are your thoughts on the current political situation? Do you think things will get worse, or will the country stabilize? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Thanks for watching Preppers News, where we cover global events with a prepper's perspective. Stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next one.